painters, how are you? As you saw in the beginning of the video and in the title, I am going to show you how I paint the metal objects. This has been requested a lot, even though I have several posts about this if you want to check, but I wanted to make it on video, so I really hope you enjoy it. I usually start making the most difficult thing because I feel super energetic and super inspired, and my energy levels decay over time, so I usually like to leave the background for the end. But in this case I am going to do the exact contrary. Why? Because the background is super easy to make. It's just flat color. I am going to make a gradient. You can see starting from cold blues maybe to yellows. So we had two different lights. You can see here, this is cold light, and you can see here, this is warm. I am going to start for the easy part, and my easy part is going to be the background. I'm going to start with the violet blue and the shadows. We are going to make the shadows green, at least here. Here our shadow is green. If you focus on this color with a pencil, you can see our shadow is green, but if you focus here, our shadow becomes red or orange, brown, something like that. We are going to respect that because it's going to make a beautiful gradient. When you don't want to go darker, you can go bluer. For example, if you are here on the green, you can go darker by going to the analogous colors. This is exactly the same as with the color wheel. If I am in green and I want to go darker, I'm not going to add necessarily black to the green. I can go just to the next color.
If I am painting a lemon, I don't want to add black. I can go to greens, maybe to orange. If I am red, I don't want to add necessarily black. I can go to violets.
So, what's the theory here? To go darker, you can just add the adjacent color. If you want to go lighter, you don't have to add necessarily white. You can add the adjacent color but to the lighter part.
For example, if I am in green, I can add yellow to make the green lighter.
We have here, I am going to make it transition to orange. You see that? This is my plan. And I'm going to repeat the gradient but to the other side. You know, I love making rainbow backgrounds, but you have to be careful not to change the value of the original pic. We can grab our phone, we can switch to mono or black and white, but you have this part is lighter here in the original version than in this one. So I have to make lighter this part from here. The rest of the parts are close, but again I have made this part from here too light compared to this part, so I have to make this part a bit lower in light, in value, and this part a bit higher. This depends on how accurate you want to be with your reference. I'm going to make the shadows now. From greens to orange. I'm going to paint the ball because it's a large area from the painting. This is too dark. I need to make it contrast against the background. If I use this green, here we have the exact value. If you use the phone again, we have here, this is my shadow and this is my ball. This orange and these greens are almost exact value, and this is not happening in the reference here. In the reference, the part near the shadow is super light. I'm going to make it then light. If we use the phone again, now we have quite contrast. You see that? Our shadow or light, we have to achieve this contrast in our painting. No matter what colors we use, we have to be exact, pretty much exact with the value. This part from here is super gray, but don't you see that it looks like pink or violet maybe? This is because it's super close to the green, and the complementary color of the green, yellow green, is violet. So all the colors that we have super close to the green that are neutral, are grays, are going to look like violets. It makes like an optical illusion.
If we are on a blue background, all our grays are going to look warm in comparison with this super cold color. If we are on a red-orange background, all our grays are going to look cool in comparison. So here we are with yellow-green. Our gray is going to look like violet. It's like an optical illusion.
You are going to see that if you add just violet pink, looks pretty similar, huh? Maybe it's too saturated. Instead of going darker again, I'm going to use violet. And you know this is brown because of the context. Now I am going to make the shiny part. For shiny stuff like this spoon, I always use the exact same palette. I use blues, greens and violets, and this is my main palette for shiny stuff because for me silvery, shiny, chrome stuff is always cold. If you see here, I am picking the colors from the chain, and these are cool tones. Blues, greens. I'm going to use not too dark, as always. I don't like going too dark. I'm going to paint, for example, this. I am constantly looking to the reference my painting. And here we have a darker color, the darkest. I can see almost black, so I'm going to make it red, just to make it contrast a bit with the blue I've used. You see that it looks way more darker than this one, and that's because this is cold and we are having a cold overall base, and I am adding a warm color, so they are going to contrast near to each other. We are making a nice contrast here, just adding a different hue, a different tone. And here we have a highlight because the table is reflecting against these shiny parts. We are going to use blue. Yes. We have a highlight here that if you zoom a lot, you are going to see that we have, let me show you, blue.
Just near the white. Maybe here is more visible. Blue. Blue.
And this is the same effect I do here. If you look closely, you are going to see that I use blue just near the white. And if not blue, or just blue, blue and yellow. Because I am going to use those complementary colors to contrast each other and make the white pop even more. Just trust the process. When you make all the shines and highlights, everything is going to make sense. For now, we have to trust. Okay, do you see here that we have an orange edge? This is because it's reflecting the cookie part, and here is reflecting, of course, the ball. So I am going to make all the parts that are reflecting the ball. Here a big one, just like this, sketchy. Maybe a bit darker because it's not the pure color. More yellow, lighter but less chromatic. I'm going to paint this warm. And again, under that we have a nice blue, quite light, thin edge. And these details are what are going to make the image realistic and interesting. Yes. And on top of that, if you see here, we have super warm highlight. And this one from here, you see this is super blue, super blue. So I'm going to use maybe, and now to make it contrast, yellow. And we have a nice contour for the highlight in blue that it's going to add more interest to the painting. So we have cold highlights and warm highlights. I'm going to use the exact same blue, maybe a bit darker, greener, darker, to make this contour, this blue from here. Always looking at the reference and at the painting at the same time. And now to fill this gap, I am going to use super intense yellow, maybe on the white. Do you see that? That really pops because we are using the yellow against the blue. I'm going to make a thing to make my life easier. I am going to make my standard color, that is going to be this one, and I am going to cover all the metal parts. And I am going to use the colors that are near to fill the gaps for the background. I think they're done now. And now I am going to bring back the highlights. I'm going to make the same process as here. Those highlights that are in the right are going to be cold, and in the left are going to be warm. Why? Because I had a warm light here and a cold light here. That's simple. So I'm going to do the same here. Whoopsie. Maybe I'm going to go smaller. And again, sketchy. You don't have to be super realistic or accurate. Here I'm going to add just random points, dots, sorry. Now I'm going to add the red ones with these, maybe more orangey, more intense, maybe this one. Yeah, from here, looking every time to the reference.
To connect this.
Okay, and I'm going to rescue this. The green. Too many colors. This is so fun. Okay, now I'm going to add the whites. Here one. Again. Okay, and now it's the part in which we need to make the darks appear. Should we correct anything from here? Yes. Using lighter color because they are making reflections on the table too. So I like to make every part reflecting each other. I'm going to use the airbrush tool here. And I'm going to grab some oranges here for these little parts, but not too much. We don't want to be crazy about this. And now I am going to use another layer. I am going to take just pure white, the brush again. Which ones are our brightest highlights? I would say this one, knife, ba-bam. Yes. And I'm going to give another white shine here. Yes. And that's it. I think it's done. What do you think? I am going to add another extra detail that I like to make in these still lifes. Well, in everything in my opinion, because everything reflects onto everything. I'm going to take this warm color from the cookies, the treats, and I'm going to make it reflect on the table. For example, in the same layer, please. Okay, we know this isn't too realistic because it's too forced, too dramatic. It's not subtle as it should be, but it's okay. We don't mind because now we are forgetting about the image. Now we are not looking at the image. Here too. Maybe more yellow. And here we have a white that has bit light from the metallic part being reflected. Maybe, I don't know. Quite fun. I think I am going to leave it like that. No more touchy. Maybe I'm going to grab more darker red. Yes, because it's going to add a bit more depth. maybe here too, a bit darker blue, just a bit more depth, just a pinch. I think it's done. I love this. Happy accidents. I'm going to add final highlight here. Why not? I think I am ruining this already, because you know it's super difficult when to stop. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's not ruined. I just wanted to make this synthetic because I am going to grab the original ball. I have kept this safe from my dogs at least until I paint this still life.
Then I'm going to give this to my dogs and they are going to just destroy it. I wanted to make the feel, I wanted to achieve the feel of this synthetic painting onto the felt, because this is not an original tennis ball and this is super bad quality. But
for that reason, I just made this white contour onto the upper part, I think it's more realistic of the bad quality that this exact ball has. I don't know, I just have fun with this silly stuff. I'm going to make some, please, I want the green. I'm going to mess with the, just a bit of sensation, because if you detail too much, you are going to take the attention, the focus from the main part, that is the chain, in my opinion, of course. I think it's nice. So thank you, and bye.